This was inspired by Maya Angelou. How do you not write a song based on Maya Angelou and all the poetry that came out of her? I don't know if you've ever heard the quote. She said, people will forget everything you do. They'll forget everything you say. Everything. But they'll never forget how you made them feel. And I'll talk about the interior work that he was mentioning. It's like a wake-up call, this song. Your words can often fail to sell. The nuance of emotion, you try and speak so well, and your actions are to speak louder than your words. Yeah, but somehow don't take away the hurt, 'cause they won't remember everything you did. They won't remember everything you said, but their heart it won't forget, and they'll always remember how you made them feel. You know your smile can cut right through the thickest heart. It can't take away a lousy day. There's a heck of a good start. It's not the cards that you send or the message that you lend. It's a standard response, and it's a sharing of the silences, the dropping of the differences, and forgiveness. 'Cause they won't remember everything you did. They won't remember everything you said, but their heart it won't forget, and they'll always remember how you made them feel. How you made them feel, the unmistakable light in your eyes. How you made it real, everything a little larger than life. How you made them feel so strong when they're weak and little ones couldn't go on. It's the slowing down and listening, really listening to a heart when it speaks from honesty. It's part of the great emancipation and disassociation from these separate lives we lead. Because the essence of the question, isn't it all about connection? You know the mark we leave. Because long after you're gone, your feeling lives on and 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 on. They won't remember everything you did. They won't remember everything you said, you.
Ooh. So I asked Bob to kick the message off with that song because the title that I came up with for the talk is, Are You Interested or Are You Interesting?
The perfect response, by the way.
Right. And about, a month ago at this time, we were sitting in Mexico at our retreat. And we call our retreat Boldly Going Nowhere. Because it's about coming into the nowhere, or as we like to play with words, the now here. Boldly going now here. The official BGN, we call it, Boldly Going Nowhere name and marketing, I think we birthed it somewhere around 2015, 2016, after we hosted a few retreats and learned what do we want to bring to a group setting? What do we want to do with people for a weekend or a whole week? And Boldly Going Nowhere came to us as, well, one, it's just a fun play on words. I mean, you chuckled when you heard it, right? Because people were like, oh yeah, boldly going nowhere. That sounds like a blast. Oh, boldly going now here. Ooh, wait a minute. Right? But it gives us flexibility to create a different theme around our retreats. So even though from year to year, the components might be the same, like, yes, of course, we're going to do music. Yes, of course, we're going to do breath work at some point. I will offer some kind of shamanic ceremony during the retreat. And we always incorporate movement and silence and those things that we might not remember to do in our day-to-day life. To bring us into now, here, right now, right in this moment. So we weave very specific activities into kind of that cohesive journey for a BGN experience that always includes some emotional release, some integration, and a commitment. Always want a commitment at the end of the experience. It's great that we're flying on cloud 9 now, what are we going to do with it? When we get home and we go back to our patterns and I'm going to make oatmeal every morning. That's where I am right now. What are we going to take from this experience to maybe shake up our experience when we get home? So guess what this year's theme was? Are you interested? Or are you interesting? And for those of you who might have that curiosity, last year's theme was, do you want to be frustrated or do you want to be fascinated? So, are you interested or are you interesting? How does that fit into that concept of boldly going nowhere? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, coming into the now here moment requires attention. We can't be depressed about the past or anxious about the future when we are attentive to the direct experience, the needs, and the desires of this moment, what this moment is asking of us. And if we arrive and choose to be fully invested in the now here, we enter the present. We enter the present. In my opinion, this is just my own perspective, I think that we actually receive the present moment when we are fully invested in what is going on and how we are in each moment. That's active participation, and it's exchanging with whatever is showing up right in front of us right now. And if we receive the present moment, I would have to say, what do we say when we receive a present? What do we call that? A gift. So, as with any gift, how we are when we receive that gift speaks volumes about who we are. And I had a discussion several years ago now with a dear friend up in Maryland before we moved to Florida. And I'm sure we were in some big existential topic and, somewhere in the middle of figuring out how to save the world and humanity and all of that stuff. And at one point, she just said something so simple. She said, what we do is less important than how we are with each other. What we do is less important than how we are with each other. And of course, my analysis and my creativity start doing their little dance. And I said, well, I would take that a step further and say how we are with each other is less important than how we are. Period. How we are with each other is less important than how we are. So, how are we when we choose to receive whatever gifts this moment and the next moment bring to us? And as I was coming into this topic, there were several scenarios that played out in my brain. And I thought, well, that might be nice to invite people into a little meditation. And if we're comfortable, closing our eyes so that we can remove the distractions of what our eyes want to pay attention to, and we can sink into what our mind wants to show us. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to toss a few different scenarios out. They're very short. Don't worry, we're not going to take you into, the million reasons why our past is still messing us up, right? It's considerations. So we're going to talk about different gifts that the present moment might offer us, okay? So with that, I'm just simply going to invite you to be comfortable. There's no right or wrong position for contemplation or meditation. Allow yourself to feel comfortable. Maybe shake out your shoulders or let your head kind of hang and just kind of shake out the funnies. And I invite you to simply receive a breath. Recognize that you are breathing. I like to say that you are being breathed. And allow the inhale to open your heart. And allow the exhale to move out anything that feels funky or wonky or stuck within you. And imagine for a moment that the present moment is the gift of a beloved that you met at your favorite local lunch spot. There's a young mother with a slightly fussy infant sitting at the table next to you. There's a table of 4 people dressed in business suits having a very lively and engaging conversation. There's a young adult wearing earbuds with a half-eaten sandwich next to a laptop directly in front of them. You notice an obvious love-struck customer sitting at the bar who is on the verge of drooling over the bartender. Where is your attention? How are you investing yourself? Are you interested in your friend? Are you interested in creating stories about the other people in your periphery? And with your next inhale, I invite you to open your heart. And with your next exhale, I invite you to simply release that image, that scenario, that example. The next example is a present moment gift of an unfamiliar person sitting down next to you on a park bench. Everyone else within any reasonable talking distance is actively moving about their day. You are enjoying the weather, observing the hustle and bustle of activity around you. Listening for an occasional bird. Watching the squirrels chase each other. This addition to the bench strikes up a superficial conversation of pleasantries with you. Where is your attention? How are you investing yourself? Are you interested in your new bench neighbor? Are you interested in creating stories about the other activity that's happening all around you? And with your next inhale, I invite you to allow that inhale to open your heart. And with the exhale, I invite you to release that scenario, release that image. The next present moment is your friend at the restaurant. You decide that your friend is the most important subject in this moment. You are fully invested in what they are sharing about some family dynamics that have them a bit flustered. You cannot relate to their struggle. Where is your attention? How are you investing yourself? Are you interested in your friend and willing to pull out the best supportive narrative that you can conjure? Are you hoping for a chance to intercept the conversation baton and change the subject to something more interesting to you? And with your next inhale, I invite you to open your heart. And with the exhale, release the scenario, release the example. And return one more time to the park. You decide that your new neighbor is the most important subject at the moment. You engage in pleasantries and find a common interest when they mention a night out at the local theater. Where is your attention? How are you investing yourself? Are you interested in your bench buddy's enthusiastic share? Are Are you anxiously waiting for your chance to overshare about the last 15 years of stage performances that you personally experienced? With your next inhale, I invite you to open your heart. And with your next exhale, release the scenario. Release any judgments you had of yourself, what you think you might do, how you think you might be, and simply acknowledge the awarenesses that you might have felt tingling in your body when certain questions were asked. Or a memory of you showing up a certain way that you really, really appreciate within yourself. Or maybe a memory that you're not so proud of. Allow the breath to continue to open your heart, and the exhale to simply release any judgment. And as you're ready, as you're comfortable, I invite you to give yourself permission, give the breath permission to bring you back into the room and open your eyes. The original question. In each moment, are you interested or are you interesting? In reality, it's a dance. And it's a beautiful dance that can occur naturally between being interested and being interesting. When we started questioning and we started digging into this concept of the retreat, everybody was like, well, I want to be more interested because that's respectful, and there's a whole laundry list of things about being interested. But what if the moment doesn't call for that? What if the moment calls for us to be a little more interesting? There's a time and place for healthy contributions of both levels of participation, yes? I believe that grace enters the dance when we are aware of our audience's roles, our audience's contributions, but we're also aware of ourselves. What is our role in that moment, and what are our contributions in that moment? And if we're honest, we tend toward being one way or the other, being interested or being interested. Whether it's our programming, our patterns, our personality, we tend to be one or the other more often. And putting aside the motives or the reasons for why that tendency is within us, there is a tendency. There can be an unhealthy undersharing when we become, or are at least perceived to be, overly interested in something, someone, somewhere, somewhen. And there's also an unhealthy oversharing when we become or are perceived to be overly interesting with our experiences or with ourselves. Yes? Boldly Going Nowhere is about the discernment of our tendency. Recognizing when we're tending toward that comfort zone, because that's all it is. It's just like, oh, I tend towards that because it's comfortable. For some reason, again, motives and everything else aside, it's there for a reason, and we're comfortable in that. But are we really? Boldly Going Nowhere, the next step is identifying ways to gracefully interrupt that patterning of our tendencies, and giving ourselves permission to reset into discomfort. Push ourselves just a little bit into discomfort and commit to becoming a different version of ourselves in that moment. The how and why we are programmed is less important than the recognition that we wish to be different. How we are with each other is less important than how we are. And maybe that's statements hitting you a little differently now. How we are with each other is less important than how we are. How we are with each other at the end of it is still seeking outward approval and expectations and worthiness and connection to anyone or anything around us. When ultimately how we are, period, regardless of who or what is happening around us and where it's happening, provides more insight about the true nature of our beingness than anything we could possibly do or say. How we are with each other happens because of how we are with ourselves. How we are with each other happens because of how we are in each moment. How we are. Only we know how we want to show up for others to remember, as the song said. Only we know when we choose to show up differently than how we want to be remembered. And only we know when we are called toward a different version of ourselves. So the question is, when we hear that call, do we take it? Do we pick up the phone? Or do we dismiss it and shy away from it? So we are going to invite you back into a space of contemplation. I asked Bob to play a brand new song that's going to be on the new album that he is in the process of recording and fine-tuning and all of the good stuff that comes from that. And before the retreat, I looked at him. So this is interesting because this song was written, the beginnings of this song were written many, many years ago. I think 2013 or 2014. And I know where it came from. It was an interview that Oprah was doing with Jean Houston. And if you don't know who Jean Houston is, I would encourage you to look her up. She's an amazing, enlightened character. And Oprah asked Jean, "What's the soul?" And Jean has some amazing work that she has offered the world for decades and decades. And she started going into, putting a definition around the soul. And she said, you know what? The soul is the lure of your becoming. The lure of your becoming. It's the calling, right? It's your calling. And of course, Bob, is the songwriter that he is, he latched on to that concept. And he's been playing with this song on and off. And I have, for some reason, over the past couple years, I'm like, can you pull that out again? There's something to that song. And we realized right before the retreat, it's kind of the theme song of the retreat. What is calling you? What is calling you to live the potential that you might not even be able to see within yourself, right? So in the same concept of removing the visuals, I'm going to invite you, as you're comfortable and willing, to soften your gaze and close your eyes and really allow the lyrics of this song to sink into your consciousness, into your soul, and allow it to invite you into that question. What is luring you into the next version of yourself?
Lord, you're becoming more. It's less about the more and more. About the Lord. Lord, you're becoming more. It's less about the changing and more about the rearranging, less about the stressing, more about the mess. You gotta let it go. You gotta go in. You gotta slow it down, be still, just breathe, just be and feel your soul in your skin. We have bodies, but we are souls, infinitely young, yes we are all. We're light-filled souls with brilliant stars and coming home to who we are. To who we are. Lord, if you're becoming more, it's less about the more of it and more about the Lord, less about the pace of it, more about the space of it. You gotta let go. You gotta go in. You gotta slow it down, be still, just breathe, just be and feel your soul in your skin.
I invite you to exhale all the air out of your lungs. Receive and inhale. And as you do, feel the soul within your skin. Connect with the part of you, the knowing part of you. What is that part of you calling you toward? What is the call to action that you are asking of yourself? Allow whatever answer, whatever message, whatever energy you receive to settle into your soul. Maybe you don't understand what it means. You don't need to right now. Just plant the seeds, the energetic seeds of the call. Listen, I gotcha. I got the message. And without judgment, without having to put a plan in place or the next step, just allow yourself to be with it. Feel it, sense it. And for whatever call you received, we say thank you. Thank you for the message. Thank you for the guidance. If I need a reminder, please remind me. And with your next inhale, I invite you to open your heart. And with the exhale, slowly, when you're ready and as you feel comfortable, allow yourself to come back into the room. Open your eyes. The lure of our becoming. Our beingness. That's how we are. It's how we be. That all influences our moment-to-moment decisions and opens the door for a piece of our legacy to be shared. What we do is less important than how we are with each other, and how we are with each other is less important than how we are. So the questions remain. Do we understand the graceful dance between being interested and being interesting? Do we allow ourselves to share that dance? Do we know when to take the lead? Do we know when to follow? Do we know when we might have missed a beat and maybe stepped on our partner's toes? And our partner could be us. We're good at that. Do we know when to lift up our partner, and do we know when to be lifted up by our partner? Do we know when to let our partner dance with someone else? And do we know when it's time to allow someone to cut into our dance? I believe that the space of grace created between the leader and the follower is what remains long off after that dance is over. That's the creation that will be remembered. It's not the steps, and it's not the moves, and it's not the dress, and it's not the wow. It's the space that's created, that grace that's created in that movement, that motion. That, I believe, is what makes our hearts expand. It's the creation where nothing in the world could be added to it to make it better. It's the moment when we remember who we are, who we came here to be, and how we want to be remembered. We have plenty of opportunities to give ourselves away, to leave behind a little bit of our energy that we're willing to share from moment to moment. And we never, ever have a clue what kind of ripple effect that could have. The only thing that we know is everything we do will ripple with the energy that we brought to it. So what energy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to ripple from your life? Are you creating that intentionally, or are you denying that? From the iconic Pa Bailey and It's a Wonderful Life, there's a plaque in his office. And at one point when George, I believe it's right after he gives up all of his honeymoon money to save the bank, and there's a shot where this plaque is right behind George, and it says, Pa Bailey, all you can take with you is that which you've given away. Are you creating intentionally the ripples that you want to remain, that you want to give away? that you want to be sustained?
It's interesting, at the end of our retreats, if you were to interview me, and I mean this with every ounce of my being, I think it was Walt Whitman say this. It's what I feel. We were together. I forget the rest. And I mean that with every ounce of my being. And she starts talking about the retreat. She's like, "You remember when Marianne?" I'm like, "No. I don't remember that." I remember feeling Marianne. I remember feeling those situations. But I want to share one quick thing, jump into this last song. But so there's a beautiful, sweet, dear friend, brother, comrade in this work. A month ago, found out he had something, and he's gone now. Like 1 month, 6 years old. And I say, dear brother, sweet, I've met him for 1 minute. 1 minute, because I remembered it. We were like, wow, did we even meet David Newman? Was his name? Durga Das. Durga Das was his spiritual name because he was in the chanting. But that 1 minute, it was like a lifetime. It's just like I remember just feeling. I don't remember what he said. I don't remember what he was wearing. I just remember this. Oh, yeah, rock on, brother. You know, that was all. And kind of stayed in touch a little bit because he had the venue in Asheville. So that's all it takes, is that one moment where you can affect someone. And you're not going to do it by doing. You're going to affect it by being. Right? So this song was inspired by Pop Valley. Tell me, what is the measure of a life well done? Tell me, how do you count an uncountable song? A collection of your minutes, your hours, and your days, the number of heartbeats, breaths, and the lines on your face. It's a nebulous affair, pulling value from the air. Was it your good taste, your good name, your everlasting image in a picture frame? Or is it nothing you can hold on to in everything that flowed through you? When your hands are empty and your heart is full, and you can smile on your very last day. There is nothing you need to measure, and nothing you need to say, and nothing to take with you but
Kiss just a little bit sweeter. I say to give it all up, love, give it away. Give it all up, give it away. Give it all up, love, give it away. Give it all up, give it away. You're an accumulation of the lives that you touch. You're a celebration of the wind and the dust. You were put here for a reason, to be of service and be a beacon. 'Cause you're a song, you're a light, you're a sacred holy sight. Take a long slow walk through your darkest night and love just a little bit deeper. And kiss just a little bit sweeter when your hands are empty and your heart is full. You can smile